You wake up. You go through your routine. You answer messages. You do what needs to be done. And yet, something feels missing. Not pain exactly. Not sadness in a way you can explain. Just a quiet emptiness that follows you everywhere. Life looks fine from the outside. You're functioning. You're surviving. You might even be doing well. But inside, there's a strange silence. A numbness. A feeling that something essential has faded, and you don't know when it happened. This emptiness isn't dramatic. It doesn't scream. It whispers. And because it doesn't hurt loudly, you ignore it. You distract yourself. You stay busy. You tell yourself you should be grateful. But what if this emptiness is not a flaw? What if it's not something broken inside you? What if it's a signal? Tonight, we're not here to fix you. We're here to listen. Because the emptiness you feel, even when life is fine, is trying to tell you something. And your inner voice has been waiting a long time to be heard. Modern life rewards functionality, not presence. If you wake up on time, meet expectations, pay bills, and respond when needed, the world assumes you are fine. And slowly, you start assuming the same. But functioning is mechanical. Feeling is human. You can function while being deeply disconnected from yourself. You can perform without being present. You can survive without being alive. This is where emptiness begins. When your days become sequences of obligations instead of experiences, your inner world starts to fade into the background. You stop asking yourself how you feel because there's no time. And eventually, you stop noticing that you stopped asking. Emptiness doesn't arrive suddenly. It grows quietly in the absence of attention. The more you function on autopilot, the less you inhabit your own life. And the mind adapts. It numbs. It dulls sensation. It creates distance. Not to harm you, but to protect you from overload. But protection has a cost. What you lose first is not happiness, it's meaning. And without meaning, even a good life starts to feel hollow. Most people are taught how to think, but not how to listen. From a young age, you learn how to behave, achieve, adapt, and fit into structures that existed long before you arrived. But no one teaches you how to sit with your inner world. So when emotions arise, confusion, sadness, longing, you don't recognize them as messages. You treat them as problems. The emptiness you feel isn't random. It's a unprocessed experience. Moments you never felt safe enough to feel. Truths you sensed but never named. Desires you silenced to stay acceptable. Over time, your inner voice learned something important. It learned that speaking wasn't welcome. So it stopped shouting. It started whispering. And when whispers go unheard for long enough, they become silence. This is not emotional failure. This is emotional conditioning. You weren't taught to ask, "What is happening inside me?" You were taught to ask, "What should I do next?" And emptiness is what remains when the inner world is left unattended for too long. There is a subtle form of abandonment that rarely gets named. It happens when you repeatedly ignore your own emotional signals in order to keep going, stay strong, or meet expectations. Each time you silence discomfort. Each time you override exhaustion. Each time you tell yourself, "It's not that bad." You move one step further away from yourself. At first, this feels productive. You survive. You adapt. You stay functional. But slowly, a gap forms. And emptiness is that gap. It's the distance between who you are and who you learn to be. Between what you feel and what you allow yourself to acknowledge. Self-abandonment doesn't feel dramatic. It feels normal. And that's why it's so dangerous. Because over time, you forget what it feels like to be internally aligned. You stop trusting your inner signals. And when you no longer trust yourself, life loses depth. You're present, everywhere, except within. Emptiness feels uncomfortable, so the mind searches for escape. Distraction becomes the modern form of emotional anesthesia, endless scrolling, constant noise, always something playing in the background. Not because you're shallow, but because silence feels unsafe. Silence invites feeling. Feeling invites truth, and truth requires presence. So you fill every empty moment with stimulation, hoping to avoid the discomfort you can't name. But the more you distract yourself, the stronger the emptiness becomes. Because distraction doesn't resolve emptiness. It delays it, and what is delayed grows heavier. Eventually, even distraction stops working. And that's when people say, "I don't know what's wrong with me." Nothing is wrong with you. You're just no longer listening. One of the most confusing experiences is having everything you thought you wanted and still feeling empty. This creates shame, because society tells you that emptiness belongs to failure, not success, not stability. So you hide it. You tell yourself you should be grateful. You minimize your own experience. You doubt your right to feel disconnected. But fulfillment is not about having. It's about resonance. If your life doesn't reflect your inner truth, it will feel hollow, no matter how full it looks from the outside. Emptiness is often a sign of misalignment, not inadequacy, and ignoring it only deepens the fracture. Emptiness is not something to get rid of. It's something to understand. It appears when something essential has been neglected, not because you are weak, but because you are human. The moment you stop seeing emptiness as an enemy, it begins to reveal its message. It asks, what have you been avoiding? What truth have you postponed? What part of yourself have you left behind? Emptiness doesn't demand action. It asks for attention. And attention is the beginning of reconnection. Reconnection doesn't happen through force. It begins with stillness, with allowing silence to exist without immediately filling it, with noticing emotions without judging them, with listening, not to fix, but to understand. This feels uncomfortable at first, because numbness feels safer than presence. But slowly, something shifts. Meaning begins to return. Depth follows awareness, and emptiness loses its grip, not because it disappears, but because it transforms. The emptiness you feel is not proof that something is missing. It's proof that something is waiting. Your inner voice didn't disappear. It adapted. It learned silence because you needed to survive. Now it waits, patiently, for you to return. You don't need answers tonight. You don't need solutions. You only need to listen. Because the moment you do, emptiness stops being a void and becomes a doorway.